So a lot of rumors coming out lately. One of them is pretty much a lot of them have to do with Terrence Crawford. And one of the rumors that's been going out is that Terrence Crawford is going to PBC, and that he's getting a multi-fight deal. I remember Bernie the Boxer, he was on his show, and which is obviously someone that's close to Terrence Crawford. I'm part of Terrence Crawford's camp, and was talking about, yeah, he should go to PBC on a big fight, big money multi-fight deal. Like, where they're going to get paid a lot of money, because that's what Terrence Crawford is basically looking for. Like I said previously, what Terrence Crawford is used to, is basically kind of, and wants is what he pretty much had with what he had with Top Rank. He went to the Zone, actually, went to Eddie Hearn and tried to get a multi-fight deal, whether it be 3 or 6 fight, where he would get a substantial amount of money for each fight. He didn't get it from them, so I guess now, since that plan didn't work, is on to trying to do it with PBC. And they know that, obviously Earl Spence wants that fight with Terrence Crawford. But the rumors that, he's supposed to, quote, get a 2-fight deal where he's going to get $30 million, which would basically be like $15 million a fight, or what's it, $20 million for Earl Spence, and $10 million for whoever he's going to fight. And I guess they just put a name to it. They said Danny Garcia, which then Danny Garcia comes out and said, yeah, he would fight Terrence Crawford, but he wouldn't fight him next. So they kind of debunked that whole he's fighting Terrence Crawford thing. Before, we also heard that, he's coming back and he's fighting Keith Thurman in June. Which I haven't heard, we haven't heard really anything from Keith Thurman. And Keith Thurman talked about that when he was asked about something like that previously. He said, you see the hat that I have on after his last fight, I got the WBC. That's what I'm rocking with, is the WBC. That's what I'm focused on right now. Pretty much trying to get himself aligned into a space where he can become the mandatory for that WBC belt. It's like that's what he's working on. So when you kind of hear the rumors about Terrence Crawford and you kind of see what everybody else is doing and what everybody else is saying, it don't seem to be aligning very well, and even when it came to Showtime, Espinoza, they asked him, hey, is that somebody that you would like to sign? And he said, nah, we wouldn't sign him right now because we really don't have any, we don't really necessarily have, the fights for him, or we wouldn't be able to pay him, I guess, what he would expect to get paid, that kind of thing. So nothing about what people are saying goes towards him getting a 2-fight $30 million deal, especially when it comes to even his record and what he's generated in his gates, what he's generated in his fights, what he's generated on pay-per-view. There's nothing about what he's done would command that kind of money. Nothing. For Earl Spence, every single fight pretty much does Terrence Crawford's entire pay-per-view career, every single fight. He does substantially higher gates than Terrence Crawford. Gervonta Tank Davis, in his last 2 fights, pretty much in 2 fights has done way more pay-per-views than Terrence Crawford has. In his last 3 fights, probably if you include this one, he'll have done Terrence Crawford's entire career. Gate, money generated, everything. He would have done his entire career. Okay, so to give him $15 million to fight Danny Garcia, why would they do that? What about that Sean Porter versus Terrence Crawford on ESPN pay-per-view would make them say, hey, we need to give him $15 million or $10 million for this fight against Danny Garcia? What about those numbers would make anyone say that? Honestly, what about those numbers would make anybody say that? And people want to say, oh, well, it's because he was on the app. Well, the UFC seems to be pretty good on in that app. Not to mention, what about his gate? What happened with his gate? That has nothing to do with it. So I have to completely disagree with that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where these people got that information from. I'm the first person who actually came out with that. I guess they said of some group in, I don't know, wherever the hell they from, but in Australia or something like that. I don't know where they would get those numbers from. But when you look at those numbers and you see what PBC is doing, and what he's generated and what certain people in PBC have generated and what they're getting paid, it doesn't match up at all. So I'm going to have to say BS on that one. Me personally, I'm just saying kind of BS on pretty much most of the rumors that you're hearing about Terrence Crawford and PBC. And you kind of got to sit back, wait, and see what exactly happens. You got to sit back, relax, and just kind of wait. Can't stay just jumping on. Everybody just keeps on jumping on. It's like the next rumor they jump on it. 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 And me personally, the way I see Terrence Crawford is, okay, I've seen how you move. I see what your setup is. The steps that you take. So until you actually make a move that reverts away from that, nah. For me personally, I wouldn't be shocked if he does something like sign with a Probellum, and then after signing with Probellum, if they can get him some kind of multi-fight deal, and then fight in Dubai or in the UK against UK fighters. I wouldn't be shocked if that's what he did. But I think that's because that's what he's looking for. He's looking for probably the 3 to 6 fight, network deal. I think where he's getting paid a substantial amount of money up front. Terrence Crawford isn't about that back money. He's not about that back money. He's not about that gate money. He's not about that pay-per-view money that's coming down. No. He wants that upfront money, like that artist who's, I don't care about the residuals and all that other BS. I don't care about that money that's going to be trickling down for the rest of my life or for the next 10 years that I'm going to be getting. I don't care about having the licenses to my songs. Or I don't care about none of that. I want that big boy upfront money. And that's it. That's the main thing I care about. That's Terrence Crawford. That's what he cares about. So I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what exactly happens and what exactly he gets signed to. But as far as the absorbent numbers that are being put out there, what leverage does he have when it comes to that? There's no leverage. No one's fighting back and forth for him. You're literally dealing with an entity that could care less about working with you. The only reason they're trying to work with you is because of Earl Spence and the fact that Earl Spence wants to fight you. That's it. That's the only reason. If it wasn't for that, could care less what you do. They're setting up all their fighters. Keith Thurman's being set up to get the WBC. Jaron Ennis is getting set up to become the IBF mandatory. They kind of putting them all into position. So when Earl Spence moves up, you can have Keith Thurman go ahead and get that WC belt. You can have Jaron Ennis go ahead and get that belt. And now they have Ellis also on PBC. So they can set him up towards a belt. And they can have this massive round, these fights at the welterweight division, they have absolutely nothing to do with Terrence Crawford. So you don't have that, there's no leverage there, to push people into a space where they would need to give him anything close to that, especially up front. But again, like I always say, we'll see what happens. Hey, you never know. I'm wrong every once in a while, It's all good. I don't really care how much they pay him. They can pay him $100 million. I want them to sign him, and I want to see him fight those guys. And I want to see him fight Earl Spence. If possible, I want to see him fight Ennis. I want to see him fight all those guys. I think it would be an awesome thing if they could do it. But we'll see. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.